Good morning, fellow teachers. I am Acela Lorraine Demdam from Hongon National High School, and this day I will discuss the project 2N-AIP of our school, or the new normal appropriate instructional practices for the first quarter. We know that we cannot stop learners from learning because we will lose our human capital, and we would not like that to happen, right? That is why the learning continuity plan has been crafted, which learners will be in a continuous process of learning while the pandemic is subsisting. And from the outline, you can see that Hongon National High School have been through a SWOT analysis of our learners' needs, because it is important that we know where to start. Then the school profile, and then the Hongon National High School analysis of learners for the first quarter from the different areas of concern: milieu, matter, method, materials, media, motivation, mastery, and measurement. And we also have here the report of the MPS for the first quarter, and then the significant accomplishments. So from the leadership of our hardworking officer in charge, Ma'am Daisy A. Zamora, we were able to come up with this very essential report for this quarter. And then the executive summary, we have modified the instructional plans and what strategies do we need to do in order to cope up with the new normal. And then based on the SWOT analysis, we were able to produce Project Hikayat, and it was launched to engage parents and learners. And then a plan hatid sagip, and then the project SAFE, and I will be discussing that later in my presentation. So this is the brief profile of our school with the school ID 308042. We all know that Hongon National High School is one of the barangay high schools in Lopez and one of the maturing schools in our town. We have a total enrollment of 319. 250 for the junior high school and 69 for the senior high school. So it's been a growing family or community. And here in Hongo, we do not only inculcate academic competence, but we instill discipline among our learners who are dependable and trustworthy. Under the milieu, it is important that when you are learning, you have the proper learning environment. Thus, we have here the knowledge hub. At home, they should have this knowledge hub because it is better to learn if you really have a space for learning, right? And then parents were encouraged to minimize the use of media, distracting applications like Facebook and the likes. And we have to stick to the schedule as prescribed by the school. And then the management of noise level at home. We cannot avoid disturbing sounds like trucks, tricycles, even roosters. But as human beings, we were able to adjust, or they have to adjust. We teachers, we are also on the process of learning, especially those who are taking their masters. It's really not easy to deal with the environment or the natural environment. So we have to allot a space where the sound or the noises are being minimized. For the 2N-AIP matter, learning is not one size fits all. That means that one strategy might not work for another student or learner. Thus, we've applied the rule of the thumb principle: start where your students are. From there, we were able to create a content that is translated in the language that the learner understands easily. But it is in accordance with the MELC. Of course, we cannot teach without the MELC, right? And then the parents are highly involved in providing instructions to their children. Remember that these parents or parental involvement is associated with the student success or the outcomes or the result of their learning. Next, for the method, we've used worksheets that has writing prompts because it is easier to write when you have something already on the worksheet. This is a strategy used by teachers so that we can stimulate writing. And then to reinforce the above strategy, we utilized KISS. It's just like a small note that is short and straight. And these are forms of daily notes that will remind them that I have to accomplish this task for today or daily. We do that daily. And then upon the retrieval of the module, we were able to check which module is not answered or which part of the module is not yet accomplished. Kasi there are checks. May mga check doon. And there are also they are also forms of visuals that will promote focus and organization. What needs to be done? Even as teachers, di ba po, may mga reminders tayo na mga note that will help us be reminded na, ito pa pala yung hindi ko nagagawa. And from there, the student will be conditioned that this is the things that I need to accomplish and these are the things that I have already accomplished. In the materials, aside from the SLMs, we have the activity sheets, of course. But we make sure that these SLMs are in the language that the students are able to understand. Kasi mahirap magturo ng isang lesson na hindi naman naiintindihan ng bata kung ano ba yung pinagagagawa o gagawin niya doon. So we have the ITW or the Interactive Tagalized Worksheets, which will I discuss later. These are for the challenging subjects, lalo na yung math, English, and science. Okay? So, the result, the learners are motivated to answer their modules simply because they can understand and was able to follow the instruction. Kasi as teachers, talagang tayo yung mag-a-adjust. Ano po? And these are the ITW that I'm talking about for science and technology. As you can see there, tinagalog yung lesson sa science. Ano po? We are not English speakers or the native English speakers, and we cannot expect these young people or learners to understand the language which they are not used to. Okay po? So for media, we used to provide constant feedback dun sa mga output nila on their papers. We call it asynchronous media. No, kung sumulat si bata na hindi ko po talaga maintindihan, ma'am, sorry po, that's fine. We have to provide room for improvement or room for mistakes for them. Kasi it's normal that they commit mistakes or they commit incorrect outputs. Kasama po talaga yon, lalo na hindi natin sila nakikita ngayon. And this feedbacks has guided and bring forth learning among our learners. In Hongo, what we did is that we wrote a letter to the student and then we asked them to make a reply. So yan yung reply po ng mga bata na sorry po sa ibang hindi ko nasagutan o naintindihan. At least we will be able to determine gaano ba sila nahihirapan sa platform na ito. And dun sa what's more, may nabasa kami na I don't have more. Sa susunod na po muna ito, hindi ko na kaya. And with all due honesty, yung mga bata na yon ay nalalaman natin na sila talaga ang gumagawa ng output nila if they were not able to understand. Ano po? From there, rule of the thumb again, start where your students are. So, nagpapadala kami ng mga modified modules, simplifying that to the extent na Tagalogin lahat yan, ultimo yung math na modules para lang maintindihan ng bata. Because we know that differentiated learning always works. You know, we were reminded by Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. Ano po? From the motivation program Hikayat, as I've mentioned earlier, is a form of PTA conference wherein we were able to gather our parents, of course, with in accordance with the IATF health protocols. Ito yung pep talk to our parents involving them in their children's education. Kagaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, malaki ang parte na ginagampanan ng ating mga magulang sa edukasyon ng kanilang anak. More supportive parents ay mas successful ang mga bata. You know, parents lasting impact to their children's education. Saka nasa batas naman po talaga natin, no, yung ating Child and Youth Welfare Act. Article 51, Chapter 3 of that Act says that reading is inculcated at home or it starts at home. Hindi lang po masyadong nare-review yun, na-observe yan, pero talagang tungkulin ng ating mga magulang at tayo bilang mga magulang na i-inculcate ang reading and learning at home. Ano po? So for mastery, this is one of the challenging parts of our teaching or our teaching job. Because it is not really that easy to gain mastery. Pero, dun sa mga little by little efforts natin, magagawa po natin yan. Only if we let go of the concept that everyone is on the same time schedule in learning. Magkakaiba po talaga ng phasing ng learning ang ating mga bata at yan yung dapat nating maintindihan. Let me quote Renard 2017 that mastery requires more differentiated learning. No, we cannot expect one child to be as fast as the learning of this another child. Okay? So in a mastery learning environment, according to Bloom, the challenge becomes providing enough time, bigyan natin sila ng sapat na time para ma-achieve yung mastery. But of course, within the allotted time for the first quarter. Later, I will discuss that how did Hongguan National High School address that. Okay, so employing instructional strategies so that our students can achieve the same level of learning. So yun po ay sabi ni Bloom. No, we have to use or employ yung strategy talaga natin or yung mga AIPs natin sa mga student para ma-achieve nila yung same level of learning. Pero yun ay depende pa rin po sa situation or sa environment or the context of our learners. So let us let go of the concept that everyone is on the same time, schedule, and phasing of learning. Okay po? So students in Hongguan are given sufficient time to achieve mastery. So the outcomes, of course, is positive. So let me show to you the MPS per grade level in our school. As you can see, for grade 7, that's 49.80. And for grade 8, 47.14. For grade 9, 51.93. Grade 10 is 54.27. And for grade 11 is 79.75. And for grade 12 ay 83.59. As you can see, ang level of mastery po ng ating mga bata, according to the MPS, is in an ascending order. Bakit po ascending? Kasi ibig sabihin, the more na nagmamature yung bata natin, mas na-attain nila yung level ng mastery. Okay po? So, the higher the higher the grade level, the higher the mastery level. Kasi yun nga, nagmamature na sila. So this is positive kasi progressive po tayo since ang Hongguan naman po ay maturing school pa lang. Okay, so for measurement, we use the analytic and holistic rubric for performance task as evinced by the activity sheets. Yung analytic rubric, as we all know, this is the multiple criteria po yan. At yung holistic naman, this one is the single criteria when we are performing performance task at home. And with the use of interactive Tagalized worksheets, we were able to come up with positive results. At yung pong mga, na-measure po natin yan kasi yan po ay naando doon sa ating mga student portfolio. Lahat po ng evidence of learning is there. It's embodied by the portfolio. At ito na po ang aming mga significant accomplishments based on the analysis of learners' first quarter performance na binanggit ko po kanina, yung MPS po natin ay pataas. So, ibig sabihin po, we are at the average mastery level according to the National Achievement Test gauge for the level of mastery. Sa innovations naman po, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, we have the interactive Tagalized worksheets. Talagang tinagalog po ng mga kasamahan namin. Kami, sama-sama namin ginawa yung pagtatagalog ng math, science, at English subjects. Lalong-lalo na po si Ma'am Maika Norada, Ma'am Noemi na nagtuturo ng math. We are trying to be at the level of our students. Ano po? So, students find ease in understanding difficult concepts. Mahihirap naman po talaga ang konsepto sa math. At i-explain pa rin natin yan sa language na naiintindihan ng ating mga mag-aaral. So, it is important to note that the importance of providing learners an instruction that is related to their experience. Kahit naman po sino. Pag hindi related sa experience natin, di natin yan maiintindihan. Okay? So, itong mga worksheet na ito, para pong nakikipag-usap si teacher sa bata habang binabasa niya yung module. Tapos, ito po ay, it delivers modular teaching content that is engaging for the learners. Lalo na po, ganito ay tsura niya. Medyo colorful po siya. Meron dyan picture ng teacher na sinasabing, pag-aralan naman natin ang ganitong bagay or pag-aralan naman natin ang kinetic energy. Ayan, parang interactive po siya although siya ay naka-worksheet. At lahat po ng ito ay hindi magiging possible without the help of our co-teachers. Lalong-lalo na po kung wala ang ating mga school head na matyagang tinututukan ang ating mga instruction. And sabi nga po ni Vincent van Gogh, great things are done by series of small things brought together. Madalas po nagrereklamo tayo dahil sa hirap na idinadanas natin sa panahon ng pandemya. But let me borrow what John F. Kennedy have said. Sabi po ni John F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Tayo naman po as teachers, ask not what the organization or DepEd can do for us. Instead, ask what we can do for the organization itself or for DepEd itself. At sana po ay sa mga susunod pa, mawala na itong pandemic para po tayo ay tuloy-tuloy na makapag-work in a normal situation. All of us are not prepared for this, but as teachers are creative and great problem solvers, we were able to adjust. Tayo po talaga lagi ang mag-a-adjust at palagi po yan nire-remind ng aming minamahal na school head. And with that, we were able to come up with these significant accomplishments for the first quarter. And fortunately, halos wala naman pong nag-drop or minimal lang yung numbers ng bata na nag-e-express na sila ay nahihirapan. With the innovations that we've done, marami po ang positive yung feedback. So let me acknowledge the committee on the implementation of our Project 2N-AIP report, spearheaded by our officer in charge, Ma'am Daisy Izamora, and yours truly, and our members, Ma'am Leonie Capuchon, Ma'am Jean Taronas, Ma'am Julie Sorbona, and Ma'am Erlinda Naisa. And with that po, sana po ay tayong lahat ay safe sa mga panahong ito at wag po tayong mag-worry dahil we are still adjusting to the situation. And these are the things that our school have accomplished, and we were able to adjust in the modular distance learning na pinili ng aming school that is best suited for our learners. So verily, Hongo National High School have performed within the expectation as evinced by this report. Again po, thank you very much and good day po from Hongo National High School Teaching Force. Maraming salamat po.